wrist flexion, I shit on him every day of the week. Finger flexion, bicep, tricep, everything. That back pressure, there's nowhere he can go where I don't annihilate him.
How you been, man? Looking bloody buff, eh? Look at those forearms.
Been resting. I was on holiday last week, so I'm still training this week though, because why would I skip training for this chump? So yeah.
So a bit of a Todd Hutchings sort of thing, just train all the way up to it.
I mean, I guess it's just that I don't care.
So
yeah.
have you obviously did you watch the interview with Ryan?
Yeah, I did.
So do you think, is there any actual fear from you, or is that just some of his mind games that he's doing?
The thing with Ryan is when he talks like that, that's what he says, oh, I'm going to win. He always either looks to the left, looks down, his posture goes down. He don't believe a damn word he said. No shit. I don't understand where he thinks he's got anything. Like, is his memory loss that bad that he forgets all the ready go training that we were doing? And I slapped him like 50 times before he got a single pin on me. Like, I don't get it, man.
So you don't buy into the fact that he thinks his pronation and side pressure is better than yours?
There's not a single fundamental that he has that I don't have 10 kilos of.
And 10 kilos is a lot when you're talking about, lifts. So
we're talking 30, 40 kilos in certain movements. So, he says he gave away, he's done, man. I can't believe how dumb he is. He gave away his whole game plan with you and John. And he's saying, once I feel static threat, it's like, are you forgetting that every static that he has, I'm doing more than. And maybe he thinks he's going to be stronger, stronger. And the thing is, let's talk about it as well. The man screams from the hilltops that he's got good table IQ. He's got two moves. Okay? He stands tall, he's hooking, and he's going diagonal. He sits low, he's top rolling, and he's going diagonal. He's so obvious about it. Table IQ. So remember the match against Chance Shaw?
Yeah.
Both of them. I have good table IQ. The pair of them missed putting the strap on incorrectly 6 times.
Yeah, I seen you put something up about that, eh?
Like, what are you guys talking about? You got table IQ. You guys dumb as shit. So anyway, in response to the video, he could have said anything else, but he has to go down there, get Anita helpline. He goes down the mental health, right? Knowing I work in mental health. Keeps on putting words in my mouth. Lachlan thinks, Lachlan says. I didn't think any of that. Telling me that the number one spot doesn't mean to me. Why would I be for half for so long?
Yeah.
That was not true. Saying that it means more to him, it's like, bro, stay in your lane. You're an 80 kilo guy in a 105 kilo fat suit. Calm down. Not even the number one guy in its drive radius. Like, you're never going to be number one as long as I'm still active in the sport. Okay? I'm younger, I'm stronger, I'm faster, smarter. I don't understand. There's not a single element that he has on the table that I don't have more than.
Yeah. So you're pretty confident that you're going to win the go? Because I know he's confident that he's going to sort of win off the go every single time. So,
which is okay. So because he doesn't have a single thought beyond an hour in front of me and an hour behind him. He forgets that when I'm training ready goes, no one gets to jump on me. I mean, you felt it when I was against when I ready goes. It wasn't missing a jump.
No,
it was not that wasn't refined and snappy. My movements are different. They're more refined than they were before. I'm still just as fast, if not faster, because that lane is more efficient. There are certain lanes I don't do in training because it's unfair to everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't get trained, but I rotate them in a way that it just disengages everything. So I don't train that way because I don't get a lot out of it. Coming up to comp, I'm training like that. I have to apologize to my training partners that they're going to feel like nothing. It's just a very efficient way. It utilizes everything where I'm very strong And that's just plan A. I've got, if I sit down and my posture's down, I've got 3 options. And you don't know which one's coming because you can't tell it in my hand. I've got 3 options from high knuckle. Got more if I drop my knuckles. If my posture's up high, I've got another 3 angles to go. This guy's got 2. Show me a match where he's hit anything other than those 2 angles.
Yeah, I get your point.
Most predictable arm wrestler in the world. But, you know, he does these breakdown videos. He overcomplicates things, but he doesn't talk to the people he's done the breakdown with. And more often than not, he's actually wrong. Because I speak to these people.
So you know the exact thing they were doing.
Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute. Like, I actually talk to a lot of these people because I, you know, have the ability to make friends, maintain them. And it's like, no, he's wrong. That wasn't what I was feeling. That wasn't the pressures. But again, I don't say anything to him because, you know, there's no point, right? Yeah, but now it's like he's never behaved this way with any other arm wrestler. But then he starts coming at, you know, his best mate.
So do you think he's sort of gone a bit too far with some of the stuff that he's been?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
spilling?
health route is dirty, man. Like, at every point, all of my trolling has been funny.
Yeah.
It's purely arm wrestling. It's been funny. Like, I'm making beer labels about the guy and all that sort of stuff. But every time he puts words in my mouth or, you know, makes pretty, you know, full-on comments about some pretty serious stuff, all I do is respond with a little bit more venom. That's it. But I'm not cutting this talk. You know? And the guy's 100% a gaslight. That's the thing. And what I mean by that, at the start of your video, he added an intro saying this was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun. It was a lot of laughs. And it's like, hey, man, no respect. No due respect. I mean, no offense, but you're a piece of shit is basically how, you know, what gaslighting is. I mean, just basically the thing with Ryan, and you saw that in the video, right? You're going to start, he and I, if you're going to start down a violent path and you're going to say fighting words, and then that person responds like RBJ did and said, I want to punch your head in, you can't then retreat as far as you can and run and call them a pussy at the same time. You can't run away and say that they were being oversensitive after you've just poked and prodded them the last couple of months, and then they blow up and you're like, what's the problem? That's a gaslight. It's 100% a gaslight. So I don't play. If I don't like you, I'm telling you directly to your face.
So judging by that, you're going to have no issue with bringing some real intensity to this match then?
Zero. Zero. Like, first 4 rounds, they're all business, right? Don't fuck around with that 4 rounds. There's no showmanship in 4 rounds. That's totally business. The last 2 rounds,
party time.
The last round, I'm going to go to the ref and say to Tom, don't worry about it. Just say go. When I give you the nod, just say go, and he can go whenever he wants, right? I'm not going to hit. I'm going to start with my wrist back, curl him back in, creep down his wrist, and dad moving.
So you're not worried about his...
You know, that's his big thing. I'm going to make him quit, so I'll make him quit while I'm dad moving him. Just so there's no video the next day saying, oh, you know, if I did this, I could have won. I felt something. No. You don't feel shit. You just feel your arm crash into the pad and every fundamental getting taken away from you.
So in a percentage, you're 100% certain that you've got this in the bag.
Yeah, why wouldn't I? Every training session, bar our last one, because he thinks that's how I'm going to arm wrestle. Like, I ain't that thick. But every time we train, I slap him 30 times before he gets a single round.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he's a full-time arm wrestler. I got a 5-month-old daughter. I'm not, you know, and back then I wasn't sleeping, wasn't eating, I was working 7 days a week. And only then did he manage to get a pin on me after 30 rounds. So now that I'm rested, my daughter's sleeping, I'm sleeping well, I'm not working as much. So what chance does I don't think he actually believes his own bullshit. This is why he keeps on saying that he gives himself permission to lose. He thinks it's a weakness that I can't imagine myself losing. I don't know what sports psychologist he's talking to, but he needs to be fired. imagining yourself losing and giving yourself permission to, what's going to happen?
Oh yeah, wrong mindset, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't need to think about losing, because if in the event, I trust in my own strength of character to be able to behave appropriately. It's not something I have to think about. I refuse to think about it. And it's not a hard thing not to think about, especially against Ryan Bowen.
Yeah, true. Do you out of curiosity, obviously I felt you before the Milkman match. How much have you sort of increased your weights by since then?
The weights, well, I did that 85 kilo back pressure. And yes, it was different to how I've done it before. It was the loop, it was around my wrist as well. But after that, I tried 80 kilos with just the strap in my hand. It was pretty easy. So
was the 80 what you were doing for Ryan Scott, was it?
No, the 80. Before that, I did 75 and I injured my wrist. And that was on Ryan's machine. My machine's got a lot more friction, and it takes a deal more, like in terms of peak force, because we've measured that before. For that 85 kilos, it's 100 kilos worth of peak force just to lift it, let alone that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my head around sort of your strength levels coming into this compared to what I felt. I mean, Ryan Scott, I mean, you were just tearing my arm off the pad. I couldn't even keep my elbow down. It was just that much. So
movements now, they're different. I'm not arm wrestling exactly like I was with Ryan Scott. Things are more efficient. They play into my strengths. All of my the groove that I'm training is very, very snappy. There's no sloppy.
And obviously that'd be purposely done to counter whatever Ryan's going to be trying to throw at you.
Look, to be honest, I don't need to do things specifically for Ryan because I'm stronger everywhere than him. It's just about refining my own lane. Now, I know once that, I've got 3 options behind that lane, and all very fast. So
well,
I don't know. I'm going to be slow and catch him and pull him over. Like, is his memory that short? I can't quite get my head around that one. But look, I was all good before this. But then he did, I don't mind being calling names and, all that sort of shit. You know me. When you start bringing up mental health, it's like, okay, I'm starting to get narky, start to get a bit pissy. I work in mental health and, I've seen it across the board. So for him to bring that up, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of gloves at this point. So anyway, the match, I mean, to be honest, it's a bit of a waste of my time. The number 1 spot, I'm not going to feel comfortable in claiming that. Like, yeah, sure, it is number 1 because he did go through Ryan Scott. But in my heart of hearts, I don't actually feel good about claiming that until I've gone and beaten Mate, because he beat Scott at his best. He beat Ben Carroll at his best. Like, he is still young. He's my age. And he's still ranking. He's still, at his game.
Yeah.
So him, yeah, cool. That'll be number 1 in Oceania. That's when I'll start feeling really comfortable about saying I'm number 1. Ryan Bowen, he's just an 80 kilo guy in a 105 kilo fat suit. I'm not, he belongs in the weight class below, not with the big boys.
So you're going to stay around this sort of weight? The what are you now, 115-ish?
Yeah. In Australia, I don't bother trying to cut my weight. I've been eating an absolute bucket ton of food. When I travel internationally, to be honest, man, it's like when I was at Zloty, I'm looking at the super heavyweights and they're like 6'6" and 150 kilos is a minimum. I'm like, I just don't. I'm not that big of a human being. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos. I'm a light heavyweight puller at the international level, under 105 kilos. That's kind of where I think I'm going to stick for the next couple of years at least. So,
and do you still feel like there's some big strength gains to get at that weight, or would you have to sort of start going heavier now to really get significantly stronger? Or is it more just like a technical thing for you? You just want to build on that technique?
Yeah. There's a technique side of it. that I've been working on that makes me more efficient in my movements. When I was at Slotty, all the numbers that I was doing, there was no one there that had a stronger arm. Where I was getting taken advantage of is Australians, we're not big on training hand and wrists the way the Europeans are. So when I got home, that's all I did was train hand and wrist. I don't really train biceps that often. Like I said, so my main strength is hand and wrist.
Yeah, I felt that. It's crazy.
Bloody, it's like, the guy's been arm wrestling for twice as long as I have. And the only time he's pulled real pullers, like, let's be honest, about who he's beaten, was in Slotty, and it was over that quick, And as and in turn, look, we both lost, fair enough. But the difference is when a world champion grabs me, it ends in fouls, not in a flash pin. So there's a big gap there in just genetic potential. There's a big gap in everywhere. The gap is never, ever gonna close because I'm younger, approach my training a lot more intelligently. The gap's only ever going to get bigger. The guy needs to give it up and just stick to commentary. That's where.
So you're not worried about his bicep gains?
I'm worried at all. Like the game I still beat significantly more. Like I picked up an exercise that I've never done before and did 7.5 kilos more than him. Like,
was that the 55? Was it that you ripped out?
Yeah, I never did that, and I was unplanned. Whatever. I just wanted to see what I could do. Who gives a shit?
And your form was impressive with that. It was pretty controlled.
No rocking. There was no shaking in my legs. There was no nonsense. Just bicep. I had to lean back a little bit because I'm kind of compact, and I struggle to fucking reach my neck these days. But there's no swinging. There's no bullshit. So that's the difference. I don't. When I start a new exercise, I go, how's the easiest way to do it? How's the hardest way to do it? And find that spot, that's close to the hardest way to do it. It's still super clean. I don't like cheating exercises. I start everything with a straight wrist.
Yeah, that's what I try to do as well. Even sometimes I try to start it even just maybe slightly back, so that way that if you can get it, then
That's how I train. The only people criticize, Lachlan, you're always carved in. I'm starting straight. It's Ryan that's, starting like this. And when I'm starting straight, you can kind of see where that goes wrong there. So I'm just matching it. I don't curl in. I've got nothing to carve him in. It's just my hand's soft there and I just dig out. It's easy. I don't, I let him take advantage in the strap. Like anything with a brain, look at the way that he straps. It's never going to happen in comp. I'd never let that happen in comp.
Yeah.
It's a half of it. It's unrealistic. And and our little pushy back and forth, he was saying what I felt. The only time he had anything on me, here's the pad, here's his elbow, and he's on my wrist. Don't talk shit. I hit him, my elbow was planted, smashed. Like, dumb, man, dumb. The man steps into a violent ring and then shits himself when he's going against someone where the reaction is trained. It's something I've grown up in a rough neighborhood. The guy's never had a violent day in his life, so it was cringe for me on that end, and I almost felt sorry. I saw him shit himself just a little bit, so it's kind of a bit sad, man. But it is what it is. I never wanted this match. I told him no over and over and over again. I know what he was like with other people, and I've been quite surprised to see that he's behaved differently and more aggressively with me than some stranger dickhead who doesn't mean anything to him. So
yeah, I was a bit surprised by that as well, and I thought maybe a lot of it's just mind games. He's trying to sort of psych you out a little bit and just try to do something a bit different.
I guess that's the weaker man's prerogative. Weaker in the head, weaker in the body. I guess I didn't take that into account. So
is it going to change anything after the match? Like, are you still just going to sort of get back and train together and nothing's really going to change? Or
there's no real point to me training with him. I don't get anything out of it anyway. The only time I feel anything is when I give him everything and I have my wrist back and whatever. There's not really a whole point. I don't like having my shit videoed, every time I train. Like, I put stuff on Instagram, but that's not every day. I might post training videos like once a week. It's not my jam. So,
Yeah.
look, I don't need to train with him. If he's where I'm training, all good. But yeah, I mean, I've been pretty good training with a couple of the bigger boys here. I get to grip bigger hands, and they have a far greater potential to get stupid strong. And I'd rather focus my energies on making the guys that are going to be in my weight class and have the potential to really build the super heavyweight division in this country. If I have a way to help them get there, that's only going to help me get better, because I'm going to have stronger, bigger training partners that, in time, someone like Marcus, who's really dedicated, I don't have the genetics that he has. I can't, you take the same level of work ethic that I have, dedication and scientific approach to training, and give it to Marcus. That's a scary, scary dude.
Yeah.
And I don't, at that point, I don't have the fundamentals. If he does all of that for the next couple of years, someone like him, he's going to clean everyone. Level. Yeah, and that's what I want, because I need that. Like, I can't, there's only so much better I can get in the gym lifting weights.
Yeah.
There's only so much better you can get with someone when you got to add 2 bands just to feel anything. It's an unrealistic load. So, to be honest, things are going to be amicable, but in terms of being motivated to train with him, kind of a waste of my time. So, probably, try and stick with the bigger Gold Coast boys and bring those up, because, like I said, they'd be scary strong, given the right direction.
So are they going to be in your corner come match day, sort of pointing out any little things that he might be trying to trick you with? Or
he can do all he wants. At the end of the day, he's not strong enough to pull it off. Like, I think he thinks he has this fantastic table IQ, but and he's always just said, it's just because Lachlan's stronger. And I think, well, no, I get to a point where I don't need to use my strength. I just disengage you and I don't feel much. That's not me being stronger. That's me disengaging my opponent. That's table IQ, not what he's going on about. So, in terms of who's in my corner, I don't really think about that stuff. I don't really care. I just go in and focus on my opponent, So my wife and son will be there, so my daughter, so, can't lose in front of my little man.
So do you actually feel that you need the strap? He was pretty convinced that you kind of, if you don't have the strap, you're going to be in trouble.
What? I know, I heard you.
Yeah.
Again, are we forgetting recent history where the guy absolutely needs a strap because he can't deal with my hand? This is where the delusional Ryan Bowen comes in. He says something one week, does something one week, and the next second he's doing a different thing, acting like that never happened.
Yeah, so where I was a bit confused by that, because you watch sort of some training pools and you look pretty comfortable outside of straps. So I thought, all right, maybe he knows something I don't, and yeah.
No, there's nothing worried about that. There are times where we're training and I don't change my posture, and I just want to see if I can just stop him, and I'm totally upright. And that's a precursor. People just think that that's just me training. That's me not caring. That's, I just want to stop him in a bad position for me. Let him hit and stop him. Like, I don't know why people think that that's how I arm wrestle, when not even months before that we're ready go training, getting ready for Ryan Scott, and you're seeing, what a peaked version of me looks like on the table.
Yeah, That's the version I hope turns up, because that was pretty crazy, that start that you had here. I was like, Jesus Christ, he's fast.
Yes, that's what's coming, but it's gotten worse. It's whippier, it's crackier, it's faster. So, and again, I'm not going to post it, but of course, there's plenty of video footage out there in my phone, rather than that. I've got comparisons before what it looked like when I was coming up to Ryan Scott versus now, and it's without even slowing it down, it is visibly like a lot quicker.
Yeah. So you're not even too fussed. So you're pretty confident that even if you did sort of miss a start over the 6 rounds, that you're just going to sort of stop it and just tear him back apart.
Yeah. Like worst case scenario, he moves me a little bit off center. It's the other thing. He said I've got no table strength, no center table strength. I'm like, what?
The elbow integrity. You said you don't have as much elbow integrity, or
yeah. See, again, I don't get elbow pain. There's no elbow pain. Here's the thing. He thinks that jamming his elbow forward like that, getting his palms up, means elbow integrity. Except whenever he does that move against me, I just go down pressure. Thank you. Like, it's a gift whenever he does that stupid move. Done it. I think it's dumb. I don't see the worth in it. I do it to new guys just to fuck with them. Like, it's a stupid, and it gets him anywhere, because as soon as you go palms up, some people try and fight and ignore it. They're not good arm wrestlers. I just get straight down on him, and it's done.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of figured out when he came over, and not many people really do that here. So when he did it to me, I tried to just go sideways, and just going straight sideways doesn't work against it. But going straight down, I can see how just basically crashing down on it would really screw
Even
it
with
up. So
back pressure and straight down, drop your posture, and it's done. It's gone. So
you're not worried if he pulls out an old King's move, and you think you can dismantle that pretty easy?
The only time that he's got that move on me is when I started like really open, and he's pulled out the King's move. I'm not starting that open.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like everything's a lot tighter than it was, and when I'm tight, there's nothing he can do, because every time he's pulled it out and I've been tight, I'm just pressing. The other thing, my press, I don't, and he'll say this because he's experienced it, I don't press to the pad. I press at you.
Yeah, he said you don't really have a press. So I did ask him about that. Would he rip out like some, I think I said flop press actually. He said he doesn't have a flop press, or I can't remember if he said any sort of press. But
yeah, no, I don't ever need to do a flop wrist press because no one's cracking my wrist back. It's just not something I need to do. So it's always at you with my wrist. So there's no, wrist flexion, I shit on him every day of the week. Finger flexion, bicep, tricep, everything. Back pressure, there's no way he can go where I don't annihilate him. And that's just in singular movements. When we put it all together, which I do, that's that, oh my God, I can't do anything, and high-pitched laugh that he gets.
So is it going to be like a Giannis style that you're pulling out, or is it going to be?
I was trained by Giannis, and for a little while there, I was trying to arm wrestle like Giannis just to see what it was like. Never in my life have I started with my wrist cocked like that.
Yeah,
I don't do that. That's not where my strengths are. I'm not Giannis. I probably arm wrestle more like Arsen, Liliev, more than anything. But at the end of the day, it's still my own version.
Yeah.
So perfect, like mastermind to learn from. And you notice that most of the elite pullers, they have that hard back pressure hit. I've added elements that work into my strengths even more so, but dominant back pressure is the foundation of side pressure, everything. And I've said that for a very long time. So just so happens I got more side pressure and more back pressure as well.
So the programs that you sort of design, is that something that you kind of use as well? Like, is it something similar? Because obviously I've got a program and
I learned everything from Giannis. There's a couple of like additions that I put in there from a powerlifting standpoint, because I've been doing that for a long, long time, that have made it, different enough to make it noticeably mine. Like you can look at our program. I'm sure there's similarities, but there's also a lot of differences in there too. So, and I come my own experience arm wrestling, my own experience powerlifting, and exercise selection, and just general understanding of anatomy.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, like I said, obviously I'm going to be doing some of your programs. And as soon as I seen it, I was like, oh my God, this is like nothing I've ever done before. It's pretty in depth, and looks like there's been a lot of time spent developing it, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's taken me a long time, but and I was under Giannis for 18 months. And the only reason I stopped is I said to him, in person, I'd never need another coach. But online, I feel like I've learned the most I'm going to be able to learn from you in this format, which is certainly not anything bad to say. Honestly, I pick things up very quick and notice nuances in programming very quickly, and kind of learn how to do it for myself. So, I think he taught me everything he could in that online sense.
So let's say by some miracle Ryan pulls out a win. What happens for you if that does happen? He's sort of obviously is saying that you're going to really struggle with it, but are you just going to get back on the bike and train harder, or?
At the end of the day, it's just arm wrestling. Yeah, I train hard. I put everything into it, but like it's just arm wrestling. Like losses happen, right? So will I? No. All I said was, I should quit if he beats me, because he has no beating me. It's not because I'm going to run away scared. There's no business that man beating me. It's a reality that doesn't compute, and I think, hey, maybe I'm not that good. If I have a chump like Brian beat me, I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? I'm not that.
I kind of think I kind of had him, maybe you at 49.5% and him at 50.5%, because I just thought he's got obviously a bit more experience. I don't think that if you guys came in with the same level of experience that he would be able to win, like even close. I kind of just thought maybe his experience will be just greater than yours, that it will be the difference.
Ordinarily, might be the truth. However, we're training partners and we're equally experienced in arm wrestling each other, except I've got, let's say out of 1,000 pens, he's got 15 tops.
Good answer.
So our experience is equal in pulling each other.
Yeah.
The day we're training, it's like he's the easiest person for me to beat in the world. I know everything that he does. The thing is there are things I don't do in training because there's no point, because it's just too easy. And I'm just beating everyone up and it's me being a bully. So there's just stuff I don't do. So there's things that he isn't aware that I do. He can try and say the same thing, but the guy is so, it's like verbal diarrhea. There's nothing he holds back. So he's on his whole gameplay. Not that I needed to know it, but what are you doing? Anyway.
How do you stay motivated?
No.
Obviously, we haven't competed much. Well, when did you last compete? Was it 2 years ago or?
Bloody 2019.
So someone sort of asked the question, ask him how does he stay motivated? And because obviously it doesn't look like you stopped training at all, but
no, I didn't stop training.
Is motivation just an easy thing for you to have, or?
I don't have it. I don't. It's just not something. It sounds cliche, but it's just not something I need, want. It's not something that drives me. It's just discipline. I get in there. I've made an enormous investment in just time, not only money and building the gym, but my own time building that gym and designing it, buying all the equipment. I've made a significant financial investment for myself into this sport.
Yep.
Time and money, and it's just about discipline. That's all. And look, Australia becoming number one in Australia, it's a big achievement, and I'm gunning for it. I think where he gets messed up, saying that it doesn't mean that much to me, is because I just know there's so much that follows it. Yeah. Number one in Australia, it's like, okay, where am I? Well, there's a whole world out there where, I'm not. I don't know where I am. We have no idea where I sit in the world. I don't have any idea. No one has. So all this talk about Lachlan's top 20, top this, it's like,
Yeah.
No, I don't even know. So, yeah, motivation isn't something has ever been a thing. I've been training since I was 15. It's just kind of
just a way of life.
Yeah. I don't know how else to be. You know, I've never been a big drinker or any of that. It just, that seemed silly. So yeah, I just get in the gym and do my thing. Yeah.
So would you still love to have a crack at Ben at some point?
Yeah, look, I'd love to. I don't know what he's doing. He said he's been injured, well, to quote, a little bit injured for a really long time. So I'm just going to take the hint and, you know, let him go. Look, he's been to the top to Australia. He's been at the very top. He's been considered the best. I can kind of get why he's no longer interested in trying to maintain that, you know, that title. I get it. Whatever. So if he's not wanting to do it, then okay, he's out of contention. This is why I call Mate over in New Zealand, because I know he's beaten Ben Carroll when he was fairly high up as well. So Ben hasn't competed in 2 years. He didn't compete for a whole bunch of years before. Well, no, he had a match with Ryan Scott before Zloty and lost. But I don't know. I kind of think there was some bullshit going on during that match. So
yeah,
I think that was my mates.
Was that at the WA state titles?
Yeah.
So that was the same year. I think I ended up getting a pin on Ryan Scott.
Yeah,
I think I entered.
He said he just given in to you. So, you know, this is from Ryan Scott. So he'd have a better crack at Ben.
Yeah, I don't even think Ben was in that overall, because I think it was just the top place getters from each weight class. So it was like me, Ryan Scott, and Jamie, and I managed to get Ryan to start in straps because I knew I couldn't take him out of straps, and I thought, oh, my only shot is to get the strap and just try to just buckle down. And
yeah. That down pressure of yours is beastly. That, because you're a little bit shorter, I think that works in your favor with just crazy down pressure that you got. It's crippling.
Yeah, I find, if I can kind of get the stop on Ryan Scott I'm talking about, then generally I can sort of hold my own, but it's just trying to get him to slow down. That's the problem. But
yeah, it is tricky. But yeah, I don't know how that all went, but I do remember Ben losing not too long before Zloty.
Yeah, he was in the middle of, so he sort of developed his style, and then he kind of got coached and sort of changed his style a bit. And that was sort of his first comp where he was trying out some new stuff, and it didn't really work for him. But
well, yeah, I mean, got to that flop press, diesel press.
Yeah.
Did him well. People in the Europeans didn't know how to deal with it. No.
Yeah, it's sort of something not a lot of people do, is it? That's why I was kind of asking Ryan, do you have a flop press or?
Yeah, it's not something I do, but it's not something I've ever needed to do because I've never had, you know, after Zloty, I haven't had anyone be able to beat my wrist.
So did anybody? I can't really recall your matches from Zloty. Obviously, it's been so long now, but I know you got into some really good matches, and a couple of them you only lost on fouls, didn't you?
Yeah, it was one against Zambalat. Zambalat was a former European champion. Well, he was world champion WAF, but he got done for doping.
It's all right.
He still won.
Most of the top guys are, aren't they?
Yeah, and he did Zloty, and he would always place at Zloty, and he was doing really well. And then I gripped up with him, and I got called on fouls, but every time I felt him hit, I felt his wrist kind of slip underneath mine a little bit more, and I felt the position getting much worse for him. But I got called on a foul, and it is what it is. I'm not saying the foul was incorrect. There was one that I thought was like, oh, that was like a micro foul, and I got pulled up on it. But foul's a foul, man, and that's because we let a lot of that go in Australia because we want to see where Zloty. It's a tournament. They don't care how far you've gone. They don't know. So, is what it is.
So would that be your one of your main goals once all COVID kind of goes and you can travel? You want to get back to Zloty again?
Yeah, I want to get back to Zloty. I think there's a lot of people in America that I probably got a punch in the nose and then beat in the arm wrestle. So there's a lot of guys that need a punch in the nose. Doesn't mean I hate them. Just, you've been a dick. Crap.
Yeah. So who would you love in America then, if you could do a match right now?
Obviously Todd Zillow, because we have history. and I think my style is every time he's lost, he's beaten in the style that when he was here, I understand he wasn't 100% well, like he had some heart issues a couple of weeks before he came to Australia. Like, let's be real here. But yeah, I'd love to have a healthy, bright red, gassed up Todd Zillow.
That would be a good match.
Yeah, that'll be fun. There's so many people I'd like to arm wrestle with. I'd like to revisit the match with Marco Yellow, but he doesn't. I haven't really seen him recently. I think he goes in spurts where, like, you see him compete like every month, and then you don't see him for like a whole year. So
yeah. I've seen that clip surfaced, you versus him, and looking at that video now, you can just see your inexperience, and I think you're a very different arm wrestler now.
Yeah, I was 2 years in the sport. Before that, I'd only started with Giannis, I think, 2 or 3 months before that match. So I'd really not started my kind of formal, the point where I can really track that my progress made, exponential gains. Yeah, so that was that. So I'd like to revisit either that version of Mike or, healthier would be great. Just to, tick that box. But beyond that,
climb the ladder.
Yeah, beyond that, I just, like I said, I want to climb the ladder. I think people kind of put me in as a lot higher than I probably deserve. I haven't competed in 2 years, and before that, I didn't do particularly well. Zloty was kind of showing signs of promise that there was a good arm wrestler there.
Yeah, I think you could definitely see the strength gap wasn't anything. It was all just a lot of just technique and.
Yeah, and I've just done that over and over again. Like, I don't arm wrestle like the strong guy anymore. I used to arm wrestle. I used to think about being strong, and I would just be slow and get fucking slapped. But that's not how I arm wrestle. I arm wrestle like I'm weak as shit. So I take every advantage that I can. I get the setup that I want. I fight for it. Fight dirty for it, and get what I want and smackaroo, quick as. So. Because look, I've always, I was a sprinter before I was a powerlifter, and I was running 100 meters in like 11:01, 11:02, like at 15 years old. I was always been fast. You watch any of my powerlifting stuff, I'm a very fast lifter. The bar moves faster; it doesn't move at all. And it didn't make sense that I couldn't arm wrestling fast either for years. But that's all clicked nicely, and
fast.
I've got that natural speed that I've always had. I've just coordinated it. So
how's the left doing? Is the left are you just a right-handed arm wrestler now, or?
Yeah, my left, I've got some pretty nasty tendinopathies through kind of the brachial radialis, kind of this kind of area. I can't top roll with it. I can't really even hook where I'm using my pronation as a block. All I've got is stand up high and just press.
Oh yeah.
And the press is great. Smash everyone with it.
That's all that matters then.
I have to hard and get there first, because as soon as I get turned up, it's like a lightning bolt up my arm. So look, this is the first time that I've been right arm only. That's the other thing. This is why I think I'm so much stronger and better on my right now, is it feels very strange for me to arm wrestle on my left, where the last time you saw me, I was still both.
Yeah.
Training both. I haven't trained my left arm for shit. I can do bench and stuff like that with it, but I can't do any kind of pulling with it. So everything's been about my right arm.
You look like an arm wrestler now. Like, looking at your arms right now, your forearm looks like it's twice the size of your bicep.
Well, it's not. They're 20. This is what a proper 17-inch forearm looks like. Not that bullshit like illusion where the thing's measured diagonally across his forearms. Thing is my wrist is actually just over 9 inches thick, and there was no diagonal. That measuring tape is tight around my wrist.
Oh, is that how he does it? I've been doing it wrong, I make it too straight.
Yeah, you can't put it in that gap there. It doesn't matter. It's got to be just slightly below that bone, because that's where your wrist is actually. It's always on a slope when he does it.
Tricks. He's a tricky bastard.
I don't more time in front of the camera trying to get the right pose than your average OnlyFans model. So sits there editing everything. So, yeah, it's all an up.
I think I've pretty much asked all the questions I was sort of thinking about, and a few of the fan questions. But if you had any final words for him, what would they be?
You better get that helpline ready, Ryan.
So he's going to need it.
Good, mate. Should I text Marlon in advance? I don't know.
I'll put that as the intro. Like I said, I actually don't have a clue what you're talking about, but I must have missed that one. But
yeah, no, all good. Like I said, gloves are off. He made that comment. I don't give a shit. So, yeah,
it's going to be fire. I'm looking forward to it.
I actually think that he'll be trying to bring it. I actually think it's going to look very boring. It's just going to be me going to business, slapping him. And that's it. And then the show starts after round 4.
So you don't even want to give him a single round? There's not going to be any give?
No give. There's nothing. There's going to be no bullshit video the next day saying I felt something. If I did this, it would have been different. There's going to be no video of him saying there was anything. It's just going to be another video with sad music in the background, wondering what he's going to do for the rest of his life. That's expecting. If I see any bullshit like if I did this or did that, remember he said he's in the best shape of his life, so there ain't no excuses. He comes into form the way he is, and getting slapped by the guy that lives 10 minutes drive down the driveway, like down the road. Give up, stick to commentating.
All right, awesome. Thanks for your time, man.
Well, good. Thanks.
I got to know, actually, what time will your match actually be? Do you know? I know the event is pretty long, but...
Yeah. So it's scheduled for 4 p.m. Brisbane time.
All right.
Yeah. Probably get there at about 3:30. I'm not, they asked me to be there at 11:30 and like to go over the rules. The rules.
Don't you really know the rules?
Sitting there for 4 hours, man. Before a decent match. So
who have you got in the other headlining matches? Sam versus Sam, and is it Grant and was it Marcus?
Yeah, there's Grant and Marcus. I think there's Torben and Marcus. They've got one arm each on Marcus. I think Torben's going left. The state titles, Torben was in hospital the day before with acute food poisoning. Oh. He was sick out. But that, not to take anything away from Sam, he did an amazing job. He won 3 weight classes. Hectic, right? But if Torben hadn't, been exiting all fluids from body from the day before, was in hospital for it, and on some pretty heavy meds, he wouldn't have got that third super heavy on the left. Torben's legit. He just wasn't healthy, and it was really unfortunate. Like I got to the comp, I'm like, "What are you doing? Go to bed."
Yeah, that's not how you weight cut.
Not how you weight cut. But yeah. So Torben, Marcus. Grant, Marcus, I'm curious to see how Grant's going. He's I don't know how much arm wrestling he's doing, but he looks fantastic.
Oh, he looks jacked,
Super jacked. Just that guy, he just stays light. Like he's light, but he's just got so much muscle hanging off his frame. He's probably someone I would like to see you arm wrestle against. I know you said you wanted Sam Burnett, but that's still a good match.
Yeah, I'd love to have another match with Grant. It was just he kind of disappeared for a little while there, but if he's back, then yeah, 100%. I
don't think he's back. I think he's, back as a hobbyist. I don't think he's put nearly, what he used to put into the sport. Who else is there? There's, my mate Rod, Rodion Kristalaev. I'm really looking forward to that match against Nick Burnett.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be a really good match. I've always said about Nick that if he took arm wrestling serious, he'd be like, he just moves so well. That he does have one lane, but that one lane is so good.
Sometimes that's all you need, isn't it? So many of the top guys have sort of one move, and
yeah, that's how the Euros play it. So he's I think that's going to be a really good match. They're both really fast. Rod has got a lot more options than Nick, and provided he gets to utilize one of those options, I think he's got the win. A whole bunch of others, man, and I'm probably going to upset a few people by missing them, but
it's a big event, isn't it?
Huge card. The Gold Coast Powerhouse Club, man, they put on a sick show. Like, not only is it set up really well, but Abe, the president, I don't know how he does it. He's just so much energy. I don't know how his voice scream in every match, and like he just gets everyone so amped. It's really they do an amazing job. So I think I'm not sure if Vitali has a match. I'm keen to see Vitali get back in. I started training with him a little bit recently, and big hand, big strong guy, heaps of potential.
So what do you think of the old Jordan and him?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, when he cares, he's fired up. And I looked at the strap and I thought that really plays into Jordan's strengths. Like,
yeah, I noticed that on the live stream and I was like, God damn, that is a low strap.
And look, it's credit to Jordan because he manipulates the strap that way. He just knows how to get what he wants. So that was a good match. That was a good win. And I hope that's put a little bit of fire under Vitali's belly. And he did ask for a program, so I've got to get onto that quick. But hopefully we start seeing Vitali back to form. I'd love to see a rematch with him and Mario.
Yeah, Mario is good. So yeah, that'd be a good match.
He's another one in lockdown. He's been hitting it hard with Lockie Carpenter. And man, have you seen that guy?
Well, he came over for WAs, and I think him and Brock would be a good match. I think
it'd be a great match.
Just for their styles, I think it could be a pretty damn good match. I mean, Brock's a strong dude as well. So
yeah, they're both built like SpongeBob SquarePants, though. They're just this big block of humans with kind of short arms attached to it. You see the way Lockie bench 1 million kilos like it's nothing.
Oh, he's got a crazy bench, doesn't he? It just looks like effortless.
Yeah, and it's pretty narrow. I bench narrow now because it just feels better on my shoulders, better for arm wrestling. It's more tricep orientated, and he's pretty narrow, but I think he's broader than I am. So his hands are. I'm not that broad. I'm very side on. I'm very thick, but yeah, I think Lockie he's a big wide dude, and
that's what you get. Yeah. When you sort of see you in person, you realize that everything is just thick. Like it just looks solid and thick, and you're like, Jesus, this guy's just sculpted.
Thanks. I mean, I tried pretty hard, so.
Oh man, when I seen you, I was like, God damn, like.
Oh yeah, it's I've been training now for 17 years. I've been in the gym, so, and that's just weights. I've done little athletics and shit. I've been doing athletical things since I was 3. So yeah, it's
So you love the sport, eh? Love arm wrestling still?
Love arm wrestling. Yeah, love arm wrestling. There's I got to admit, there's probably 10 people that keep me in it. 10 people I actually like. There's a lot of people I don't like, but I generally don't like a lot of people anyway. But yeah, I love the sport. Definitely want to focus more on Europe.
Yeah.
I just think that's where everything is. Like the States, it's kind of like elite Masters League.
Yeah, and to be honest, that's exactly how Ben feels. He just wants to compete in Europe. He just loves going over there and pulling over there. So,
I mean, it's such a high standard. The guys put so much of their life into it, and if you can get a win against a Kazakh, the guy who's been arm wrestling since he was, conceived.
Yeah, a baby, yeah.
Yeah, you get a pin on that guy. It's like anyone from Kazakh, you get a pin on them, people go, holy shit.
It's legit.
Yeah, it's like they're different. If the Kazakhs are on the world stage, like they're at Zloty or they're at WAF since the split, if they actually make it to being on stage, what people don't realize about the Kazakhs is they have like a football field, indoor, I think it's an indoor basketball field, this huge arena, and it's packed with kids, their own internal tournaments. So for you to get the opportunity to represent your country in Kazakhstan, you're already best in the country. Or, top 3 in your weight class for the country, and they might give a newer guy a shot. But generally, everyone that you see at WAF at Kazakhstan is Mickey Mouse, man.
Right, yeah, they always look there's just nothing missing in their game. They just always look just 100% complete, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And look, the only guys that compete are Georgians there, and they're not as rigid as the Kazakhs. There's a couple of dud Russians that, they just let them compete. In terms of like who's allowed to show up, the Georgians and the Kazakhs make sure they put on a show. Like, you can't be shit. You're not allowed on stage if you're shit. So, yeah. No. Yeah, Europe, and look, like I said, America, it's like an elite Masters League. The best guys are 45 over. Yeah. And they're all competing with each other. Look what happened when Devin competed in Europe last. You got fucking sodomized.
Well, all of them are at the moment, aren't they? Nobody's really doing too well.
That's the thing, because they're so old. You're going against guys who are like, look at Irakli.
Yeah. Bonchidar, like those guys just.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they're the guys. It's like you can't compare Sasho and Bolzadar and Irakli against a geared up gyno Devon. Like, he's so old, like those guys are just, and they don't have, they're not doing those matches because it would be fucking sad, man. Like Michael Todd, they're all just compete with each other. They're great arm wrestlers. I'm not saying I could beat them. Let's just be clear. But you just look at the contrast. The Euros, efficient and just explosive, and the rules are rigid and it's very professional. The Americans,
like us, a little bit sloppy, and
you can get away with not having a strong wrist. You can get away with so much shit here, loading in the setups, and it's big difference. I'm with Ben on that one. Doesn't mean I'm not going to compete in Australia. It's just I get it. Yeah.
All right. I won't take up any more of your time. I think we've been on for a while now, but it's been awesome, man.
Yeah, that was fun. How long have we been on for? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
A while.
I don't even know how you can say it. But it's been a while, but
gee. All right, man.
All right, man. Good luck.
And hope WA doesn't Brexit Australia.
It's not looking good, I might never be able to leave, so might be just Ben and Ryan that I go for, and that's it.
Hey, at least you got those people in your corner, like in your country, man. That's in your country, in your state.
We'll be a country soon.
That's WA is going to Brexit Australia.
West Australia aren't we?
But I don't know. You can stay over there.
I don't want to stay here. I want to get out.
You're fine. But no, all good, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Well, gee, see you, man.